Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel, Hazel and Aka Design. I'm very glad that you're here, and I want to say welcome. Enjoy your stay. This is a hotel key card that I just discovered in my stack of hotel key cards. Anyway, this is take two because, of course, I was about a minute or so into the video and I heard the timer on my stove ringing. And I'm the only one in the house, so it would have continued going forever. And you may be wondering, is she cooking? No, hell no. I'm making avocado dye. So anyway, here we are, take two. So I was in the process of saying that I just wanted to do a short video to bring you up to speed on where I am with the hashtag CCT52 challenge. It is the brainchild of Caroline's Craft Tree. It's the first year I'm taking part, but I gather she's been doing this for some time. And so I can't speak to how past challenges have been. Anyway, the more I do this, the more I'm beginning to realize that this is really quite brilliant. The premise here, and if you watched any of the other videos, this thing, and this is not rules, this is just suggestions, is available on her coffee shop site. So basically it lays out sort of what the suggestions are. And in the theory of go big or go home, I'm using this giant die to decide. Oh, and these are all the prompts that I've, cut out and folded. So in essence, you roll your die twice. One to figure out what it is that you're going to create that week. So there are the options: tag or journal card, envelope, pocket or flip, page or page cover, embellishment, or a wild card, which lets you do whatever you want. Then you roll it again to see how many prompts you pick. Now these are the normal ones, and this little tiny bundle here are the mixed media ones. And you need to sort of keep track of them, do them separately if you get a particular number, and obviously reuse them. Now, with the ones that I have done, the regular ones, I'm putting them in this little bag, stapling them together so that I don't keep picking the same stuff. So that's it in a nutshell. Okay, so if you're doing this, then you already know how much fun it is. If you're not doing it and you're thinking, oh my goodness, it's already February 7th, how could I possibly catch up? Well, trust me, you could catch up quite easily, especially if you're not making videos in between and making and having stuff on the stove. Or you can begin where you are. Easy peasy. Okay, so if you saw previous videos, you know that I chose this little address book. That was a past one, and these are past ones. Okay, so this is not week number 4. And my prompts, okay, I had to do an envelope, and I got to pick 5 different prompts. So I had key, winter item, forest, something sweet, and ledger. Now, I probably did, well, there are no mistakes. I don't think that, not that I really did anything here other than add the little key charm and grunged up this greeting card because it was so very white and doesn't go with anything else here. Anyway, obviously that's something sweet. Here's some die-cut keys. Here is forest. This is an envelope, and and I covered it with old ledger. And I have a couple of scrap pieces here to show you. I was lucky enough to buy a lot of some stuff that belonged to a doctor in the 30s. including a ledger where he kept track of stuff. And I think I did a haul video about that, where he was also keeping a track. He was keeping track not only of what he was spending, like, okay, cost $4 for a permanent wave. Now that must have been for his wife. Candy was 15 cents. Bread was 9 cents. This is pretty crumbly paper, I have to say. Anyway, he also had I can't remember if it was the same book or another one, where he kept track of his accounts receivable. Like if he had delivered a baby or done a house call or whatever. Anyway, so I had that ledger and I thought, why am I keeping it? Let's start using it. So this was a larger envelope. I cut it narrower. I cut it shorter. I knew I was going to glue it down to the page. It had, I can't remember what it had inside, but I covered it. Now you may have difficulty seeing that. I covered it with a mother and child looking at a spruce tree. So that was the winter item. Anyway, I don't know if I was supposed to do the card or not, but that was the way for me to introduce my something sweet. No, I don't know about it. This is more information than you need, trust me. But hey, I think that's part of the reason why you guys come to this channel. This, in the past, in the not very distant past, I could have practically licked a page or a picture like this. However, I discovered along the way that sweets didn't seem to agree with me anymore. And I'll spare you all the gory details, but I began going to a guy, a Caucasian guy, that practices traditional Chinese medicine. And through the treatments, the acupuncture, the talking, I no longer have a craving for sweets. Is that not a miracle? Anyway, enough about that. Okay, so that was week 4, but in fact, we are on week 5. So I just wanted to show you what I just completed. My next roll of the dice gave me first of all, I threw a 2, and I thought, well, okay, I just done an envelope. Let me roll again. So I got number 5, which is an embellishment, and that could be a tab, a dangle, a paperclip, etc. And I thought, you know what? How about a cluster? Because I'm free to choose. So the prompts I got were bingo, coffee filter, and guest check. I have a bunch of these guest checks. I had coffee filter that was already kind of ripped up. I hadn't cleaned up these bits of ledger. I had book guts from something I had taken apart. And I thought, you know what? I maybe have been a bit too literal in some of the interpretation of these things in the past. So why don't I gather up? Why don't I make the thing as beautiful as I can make it, satisfy the prompts, but make it, make it beautiful. So, coffee filter, ledger, guest check that I sort of, and I have to say, I was at Michael's yesterday, and not that it's such a great saving, really, but it was buy one, get one free. I like this Ranger ink, and I thought, oh, coral, that would probably be good for my blush journal. But, I need a second color. So I went with Pebble Beach. And I have to say, maybe I could just show you what this is like. It's really kind of subtle, but I like it because it's not a red brown. It's a sort of... Now, remember, I used the same brush for all my browns. So there is some cross-contamination. But I thought, you know, for a grayed down brown, that could be a new favorite. Haven't tried the coral yet. Okay, so, and then I thought, well, okay, I grayed up the, what should we call it, coffee filter, because of course it was stark white. This was obviously patinaed from being almost, you know, 90 years old or so. This cute little bingo card was, if you saw me do those punch outs, that was in my saving time in the craft room video, ripped up some book guts, and then I thought, you know, I need to bring the blue around again. And I had that, I wanted to make sure that I preserved the number on the guest check, you know, on the little receipt part. So that's what I did. And I knew I had some cotton ribbon. Now this stuff obviously is kind of 80s, 90s. You can make it fray. But I also, and I should just demo that, because I want you to know that you never have to use things as you find them. So this is crisp, really crisp. So I kind of squashed it up, creased it, mangled it a bit. And you can very, well, somewhat easily fray it. So I just frayed the edges a bit. I mean, it does take a little work. It doesn't fray as easily as some other things, which is both, I guess, a good and a bad thing, depending on your point of view. You can do it, obviously, in the other direction. Back in the day, I knew the difference between warp and weft. Don't ask me what it is now. Anyway, you can do that. If you ever, you know, encounter this kind of ribbon, it is really crisp. So if you want that look, great, it's ready to use. If you want it to look more vintagey, like it's been around, you know, much like everything else here, another thing to do is sort of just soften up those fibers a bit, twist them a bit, you know, distort them a bit, so it's not just such a, you know, perfect rectangular piece of fabric. And maybe I did better on this than I apparently did on this, but I just want to draw your attention here that I did sort of fold it back on itself in a couple of places to give it a little more dimension. Now, if you have, again, I didn't mean to turn this really into a lesson, but while we're here, might as well do it. Now, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 different elements here, and some of them have multiple pieces. If you've ever tried, okay, you have your components, you play around, you think, oh, that's so beautiful. Well, sometimes on videos, you'll hear people say, take a photo. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, that's kind of a pain in the butt. So what I did was, once I had played around with it, kind of knew what I wanted, I glued it in stages. So ledger to coffee paper to coffee filter was the first thing, and I could maybe make this a little more irregular here. But then I had all these other loose things. So holding it in place with one hand, I just pick up a corner and I glue things. Like if I knew that, okay, I wanted this bit of ribbon to cover part of that, but leave the word guest check visible, I'd lift that part up. I wouldn't, you know, really move anything else. Put a dab or two of glue there just to anchor it. And then same thing with the bottom piece. And I knew that my bingo card was going to be my top and my last item, but I also wanted to get these book gut pieces here. So again, same theory. Glue this down, keeping the numbers exposed. Glue this down, and I can't remember if I glued it to the guest check or to the, I guess, yeah, to the guest check. And then the ribbon, and then finally that, without throwing all the pieces aside and trying to reposition it the way I decided I wanted it. So holding, lifting, and then if you have to go back and reinforce something, and I guess that might not be a bad idea since some of this is a bit fragile. So this ends up being a fairly big thing. What have we got here? About 4 inches by almost 4 inches. So I'm thinking this is, well, it could be an oversized cluster. And I think, especially with this old ledger, it's kind of important that I'm just adding this bit of glue here, because it does want to crumble and break into pieces. So it could be an oversized cluster, or it could be, you know, depending where it finally gets used. Now, mind you, I guess it's not going to get used anywhere other than in this little book, this little binder of mine. It could also, and now that there's some rigidity to it, it could be a tuck spot as well. So that's all I wanted to say about all of this. I think for now, maybe what I'll do is just tuck it into the week 3 pocket and just let that be there. Or I guess I could stick it in there as well, but it looks cute there. Cute, cute. And I'm excited about continuing this. So again, it's Caroline's Craft Tree, who came up with the challenge. The hashtag is CCT52. And because she's done it other years, I think that I maybe add the word or the numbers 24 there. So to know that it's this year's. Anyway, guys, that is all I needed to say today. I hope you choose to jump on board. And again, if you can't commit to 52 weeks, because that, you know, that is a bit of a commitment, then certainly grab the prompt list and use it just anytime you feel stumped. And yeah. Anyway, thanks. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.